1-1 pitch from Lawrence smacked. Laser beam to center field. Going back, Doyle, he's going to watch that one fly. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. I'm your host, Frank Rampin, and let's dive into another week of the MLB season. So, quick little trip that I made over the past week and a half. 5 MLB stadiums for 5 MLB games in 5 different cities. One of them including this one proudly across my chest right here. But started off in Miami, my last day down in Florida after I moved out of school. Went to a Miami Marlins game Friday night. And then come back to New York Tuesday, go to Citi Field, hit up the Mets game where I saw Aaron Nola throw a complete game shutout in 106 pitches, his 4th career complete game shutout. And then I went to a Yankees game Friday night. I saw Aaron Judge homer in the first inning. I saw Giancarlo Stanton hit a homer. And I saw Soto hit 2 doubles. Pretty sick stuff. Then I flew out to California to go see my brother. Went to a Giants game on Sunday. Saw the Giants take down the Rockies. Matt Chapman playing some third base. It was part of his stretch where he had 7 consecutive hits and 7 at-bats in a row. And then to cap it all off, Tuesday in Oakland, Rockies, A's. Great game that I saw there. And I have a little bit of fun fact going on for that one. So let's dive right into it. 5 games, 5 cities in about a week and a half. But it was pretty good stuff. That's why we missed last week. But let's move into this week's stat of the week. That's what we got for you today. Don Mattingly, the great legend captain of the Yankees, was one of the few the Yankee legends that you can talk about that did not win a World Series. But Don Mattingly, in 1987, he set an MLB record by hitting 6 Grand Slams in a single season. 6 Grand Slams in one season in 1987. The MLB record still stands to this day. Don Mattingly had a very long career. The 5 seasons he played before that, 0 Grand Slams. The 5 seasons he played after 1987, 0 Grand Slams. So he hit 6 Grand Slams in one season, 1987, and didn't have a single other one for his entire career. Pretty incredible stuff there. So now let's go to the play of the week. It's going to take us to Chicago, the south side of Chicago, where the Baltimore Orioles just took on the Chicago White Sox in a 3-game series. Baltimore able to survive by the hairs of their chinny chin, as we see here. 6-4, Baltimore on top. Craig Kimbrell in the game. Tommy Pham lifts one high and deep in the air to center field. Colton Cowser sizes it up at the wall and takes away a home run to end the ball game. What a play from Cowser. He's been unbelievable for this Orioles team. Takes one away from Tommy Pham. That would have cut the deficit to 1 in the 9th, but he says no, ends the ball game. Kimbrell, of course, he's loving that one. So, Colton Cowser, he came up the same week that Jackson Holliday came up for the Baltimore Orioles, and he took the MLB world by storm, set an Oriole record by having 10 RBIs in a 3-game series at Fenway Park. He has just been unbelievable for them. He continues to do great things. So now, let's go from the play of the week to the game of the week, and this one's going to take us out to the Oakland Coliseum. Tuesday, May 21st, the game that I was at. What a game that I got to saw, a treat to cap off my 5-city, 5-game road trip. A's Rockies, not the most, not the greatest matchup on paper if you look at it just like, hey, this is the game I'm going to today, but ended up being the best game I've seen all season. So, pick things up in the top of the first inning. Ryan McMahon, who I actually saw hit a home run in the top of the first inning against the San Francisco Giants on Sunday. Now I'm seeing him on Tuesday night at the Coliseum against the A's. His first at-bat against them, and Aaron Brooks, the right-hander for the A's. He's going to rip a changeup high and deep in the air to right field. That one's going to get out of here. So quick runs in the top of the first inning for the Rockies. They lead 2-0. Great piece of hitting there from Ryan McMahon as he waits for that off-speed pitch and just rips it. So the A's in a quick early hole here. And for this game, so every team has their version of legend seats, right, in their stadium, or like whatever, diamond level. So the A's have their version of that. It's a little bit different than most stadiums, I'm sure you could guess, because it's the Oakland Coliseum. It's a little bit older. So for $157, I think, according to me, the man, one of those biggest bargains in all of sports. So at Yankee Stadium, you can sit behind the plate in Legends. It's $1,500, but you do have the Michelin star restaurant behind you. You can go back there whenever you want, get free food, free drinks, anything. It's unbelievable. But At the Coliseum, it's a little different, a little bit older. They don't really have a Michelin star restaurant right behind you, right next to where the players are playing. So actually, when you walk down the tunnel to get to your seats here, you have to walk right next to the visitor clubhouse. So you go down this narrow little hallway, and it takes you through this really cool stretch of like brick hallways, and at the top of it on your right is just the visitor clubhouse. So the Rockies were right there. I walk in, and there's pictures of like Raleigh Fingers, Catfish Hunter, Dallas Braden's perfect game, Ricky Henderson stealing the record-stealing base, all that lining up this really narrow hallway with just a rope in the middle of it. The fans are walking down to their seats on the left, and the Rockies, or the visiting team, is walking down to the dugout on the right. It's pretty unique experience because you're up close and personal with the players. There are signs saying you shouldn't talk to them, which I get, but I mean, I didn't really say anything to him, but I walked right by Ezekiel Tovar. He ended up having a great game in this one. He's been hot lately, but I mean, we walked right by each other right before this game. It was really cool. Very cool experience for the A's to have that, but it's probably because they had to put it in later. It's a very cool thing, though, as you get to walk right down, and you're in this like little box. Most legend sections, or at least Yankee Stadium, the nice ones, I mean, it goes pretty far down the line. A's Stadium, or Oakland Coliseum, for A's games, it's literally just like, I don't know, maybe 50 seats at most, and you're just right there behind the plate. Obviously, there's a lot of foul ground in Oakland, but it really feels like you're on top of it. It was a very cool experience. Big bargain for the $157 that I paid to walk right through the visitor players entrance, basically, to walk basically right on the field behind home plate. And you get free food and 3 free alcoholic beverages until the 7th inning. I mean, what a bargain. $157, can't beat it in baseball. So let's go back to the action here. A's down 2-0, heading into the bottom of the 3rd inning here after the Ryan McMahon home run, as I'm getting added up here by absolutely Jones Bohansen. So, jump ahead. Bottom 3, J.D. Davis up at the plate for the A's. They're still down 2-0. 3-2 pitch from Cal Quantrill, lifted high and deep in the air to left field. That one is smoked. That one is gone. So cuts the deficit in half, 2-1. First hit of the game for the A's is a long ball. Yanking the hands inside of that one, J.D. Davis blasts it out of here. So 2-1. This game was full of highlights, as you're going to come to see very quickly. Moving along to the top of the 5th inning, the man that I walked by about 1 foot away from, Ezekiel Tovar, his second at-bat of the day. High fly ball, deep left field. That ball was crushed. 443 feet off the bat of Ezekiel Tovar. That one was crushed. That was a loud noise in the cavernous Oakland Coliseum. So now we move along. J.J. Bleday, bottom of the 6th inning with 1 out. Lines one into left. Unable to come up with it is the left fielder Beck, and it's going to get all the way to the wall. J.J. Bleday is going to be able to run all the way to third with a 1-out triple here, setting up the A's with a runner 90 feet away. That's 3-1 now. But J.J. Bleday looking to cut into this Rocky lead yet again for the A's. So now, Bleday, 90 feet away at third base. The batter, that is going to be Brent Rooker. Rooker, 0-1 count. Off-speed pitch gets through the legs of Elias Diaz. Bleday is going to walk in. 3-2 your score. Second run comes in for the A's on a wild pitch. So now jumping ahead yet again. Top of the 7th. Still 3-2. Rockies on top. Next at bat for Ezekiel Tovar. Golfs one. Another one high and deep to left center. And another homer for Tovar. 2 home runs and back-to-back at bats for Ezekiel Tovar. He puts on the ski gear. That one was crushed. How did he hit this pitch out of here? When I saw this, I knew this was a low pitch, but now looking back at it live, this was maybe going to hit the dirt. Might have had to have been a pick from Shea Langoliers back there, maybe just barely catching it off before it hits the dirt back there. But nevertheless, going down and getting it was Ezekiel Tovar for his second home run of the day. So 4-2, bunch of home runs already. Ryan McMahon, 2 from Ezekiel Tovar and J.D. Davis. 4-2, the Rockies on top. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. Justin Lawrence on the bump for the Rockies. Seth Brown at the dish with a runner on first. And if you look very closely here, so it's going to be the right side of your screen. So I was telling you that this is where I was sitting behind the plate in this little section, the diamond level. And there's only 50 seats, right? You can see them right there. The people that are in the screen behind the plate, those are the people sitting in diamond level, right? And if you notice, there's a few doors, right? There's a door under the State Farm sign, kind of right in the middle above the umpire and the plate and stuff like that. And there's another one a little bit to the right in the corner. And for this particular at bat in the bottom of the seventh inning, I was about to go run to the bathroom after the half inning, so I kind of went to the door so I could skedaddle on out of there so I didn't miss any action. And if you notice here, in the very, very, very corner, I'm wearing this exact Matt Chapman jersey because got to support the boy, especially when he's absolutely tearing up baseball. Matt Chapman, not for my A's, but for the San Francisco Giants. But wearing this exact jersey in the very right corner, I'm there, right there, in the doorway, and you can kind of see my reaction to this play. So 4-2, Seth Brown at the dish, down by 2, runner on first, representing the tying run. 1-1 pitch from Lawrence, smacked, laser beam to center field, going back. Doyle, he's going to watch that one fly. So I'm in the shot, and Seth Brown hits a bomb. So, I mean, hey, I'm in the shot. How about it? So Seth Brown, huge home run to tie things up, 4-4 here. So now moving ahead, next inning, bottom of the eighth, top of the order for the A's, Abraham Toro to lead things off. 2-2 count, rips one to right. That ball is gone. Solo homer leads things off here in the 8th to give the A's a 5-4 lead. Abraham Toro, one of baseball's hottest hitters throughout the month of May, comes through again for the A's. Low and in fastball just pounded over the fence in right field. First lead of the ball game for the A's, 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th. And you know what that means. As soon as this happened, I was like, yes. That means it is Mason Miller time. So top of the 9th inning, here comes the big right-hander, Mason Miller. He comes in, was a little bit wild in the first half. And this is really, so me going out to Oakland, right? I wanted to see a few things. Obviously, I wanted to see a homer or something. I wanted to see an A's win. I wanted to see a stolen base by Esteury Ruiz, and I wanted to see Mason Miller pitch. So in this game, I saw 5 home runs, 3 hit by the Rockies, 6 home runs, 3 by the Rockies, 3 by the A's. In the bottom of the 8th inning after the home run from Toro, Brent Rooker got on. Esteury Ruiz pinch ran for him, ended up stealing third. So I saw 6 home runs, a steal of third from Esteury Ruiz, and then Mason Miller comes in to close things out with a 1-run lead in the top of the 9th. I was losing my mind. First batter, a little bit wild, gets behind him, but lights him up with 101 up and in. Next batter, Charlie Blackmon, 1-2 count, soared on the off-speed pitch, a little bit of luck there with the umpire block, but Shea Langoliers absolutely hoses him at first. Great throw from Shea. 2 outs in the 9th. Next batter, Ezekiel Tovar. He's got 2 bombs already. Swings through 103. 103 ends the ball game for Mason Miller. 10 for 10 on save opportunities, making it 11 for 11 the next day. He is just unhittable. The numbers on him are absolutely ridiculous. I'll get to them when we move on to the A section. But oh my gosh. Watching Mason Miller pitch in person was one of the treats that I've seen in the last 5 years of watching baseball. Watching him, especially from that close up, I was basically right behind the plate. 101, 103 miles an hour looks ridiculous from there. I was watching him in the bullpen. The bullpen catcher dropped a few fastballs. Like he was trying to get it was insane. I've never really seen anything like it. The guy who warmed him up behind the plate before Shea came out in the 9th, he was struggling too. I would have been fully geared up. He was not. I would have been. And then obviously, watching him pitch and dice up those batters, strike out the side was unbelievable. So, A's pick up a big win to end my 5-game road trip on a high note. So now, let's go into the standings update now that we're about 55-ish games in, around maybe a little bit more. So, we'll start off like we always do with the American League East, the New York Yankees. Hottest team in the American League. They've been unbelievable so far. Their pitching's been absurd. Their hitting's been absurd so far. It's been crazy. Soto and Judge have been great. I think Juan Soto's going to win MVP this year. Aaron Judge has been the hottest hitter in baseball in the month of May. It's been a treat to watch this team play. And I mean, how about Luis Gil? He comes into the rotation to replace an injured Garrett Cole, and he is arguably one of the best pitchers in the league. So Judge, he's the hottest hitter in baseball. Juan Soto, he just passed Mickey Mantle for the most walks since at least 1901 before the age of 26, 669 and counting. Luis Gil, mentioned him a little bit. He broke a Yankees rookie record with 14 strikeouts, passing the mark set by El Duque of 13. Heel is also the third Yankee to throw six plus innings and allow one run or fewer in 5 straight starts. And Soto, Stanton, and Judge all homered in the same inning against the Padres Friday night. First time that's ever happened, and the second time they've done it in the same game. This team is going to be fun to watch, and they don't have their American League Cy Young winning pitcher from last year. This could only get better for Yankees fans this year. It's going to be unbelievable. The Baltimore Orioles had a little bit of a shaky run over the past week and a half. They got swept by the Cardinals in St. Louis, who was struggling at the time. They've really turned things around. But Orioles, they sit at 33-18, about 2.5 games behind the Yankees. That sweep that they fell to the Cardinals on, that ended their streak of 106 consecutive regular season series without being swept. That's the third longest streak in MLB history, and the longest since 1995. And pretty interesting, though, that the Orioles, they hadn't been swept in 106 consecutive regular season series, right? That's the third longest streak ever. But they got swept in the playoffs last year. So, obviously, regular season still, but man, that's got to suck. Gunnar Henderson, probably the American League AL MVP frontrunner at the time, maybe him, Soto, Judge, those 3 guys. But, oh my gosh, Gunnar Henderson. He's got 17 homers, homered in 4 straight games. He's the first Oriole to do that since 2020. Third Oriole to hit 17 or more home runs in the team's first 49 games of his season. Last person to do that was Boog Powell. The bullpen's had a little bit of a struggle recently. The offense has been putting up, maybe 4 or 5 runs decent. They've been still okay. Not like they've gone cold or anything, but it seems like they've been giving up games more than they have in the past. We'll see if they can correct that, as they just played the White Sox. They did lose a game to the White Sox, but they had a couple wins, did win the series. Red Sox, they are 1 game over 500 at 27-26. Their pitching has been unbelievable. Just took a little bit of a hit, though. Garrett Whitlock's going to be done for the year. He's going to have elbow surgery. I'm not sure if that's Tommy John or not, but I did see elbow surgery done for the year. The hitting does need to get picked up a little bit. They were no hit into the 7th inning earlier this week, but I could see that happening because Rafi Devers. Rafi Devers has been great this year. He broke the Red Sox franchise record and set a new one with a homer in 6 consecutive games. He's been amazing. The Rays, they've been really up and down. They had a comeback win against the Royals yesterday on Sunday. But, they've been very, very shaky. They're 2 games under. The pitching has not been dominant like we normally seen. Maybe that's because they don't have McClanahan going. But we'll see if they can turn things around. Kind of the same story with the Blue Jays. Very, very up and down all year long. There's 6 games under 500. Vlad and Bo Bichette, though, starting to hit. So now to the National League East, the Phillies. They're 38-16, best team in the league. This matches their best record over a 35-game span, 29-6 in franchise history. So that was set in 1892, and they just went on a stretch of 29-6 games to set a franchise record that was set over about 130 years ago. Ranger Suarez, he did pick up his first loss of the season yesterday in Colorado, but let's not talk about that because before then he was unhittable. 1.37 ERA, lowest by a Phillies pitcher in their first 9 games of a season since at least 1912. That was the year they started keeping ERA as a stat. He's the first pitcher to start 9-0 with a sub 1.5 ERA through 10 starts since Juan Marichal back in 1966. 4 MLB pitchers ever in the modern era have had a whip, walks and hits per innings pitched, of 0.72 or lower over their first 8 starts of a season with their team, winning all 8 of those games, right? 4 players in the history of the modern era have done that. 3 of them were dead ball era Hall of Famers. One of them was Christy Mathewson in 1901, 1907 Addie Joss II, and Mordecai Brown in 1908. The other one, Ranger Suarez this year. So 4 guys ever to have a whip of .72 or lower in their first 8 starts of the year, and their team wins all of those. 3 dudes who pitched in the 1900s when guys couldn't hit, and now Ranger Suarez. Unbelievable the Phillies have been. They look like they're going to have a great season. The Atlanta Braves in second place, still 10 games over 500, but they just took a devastating blow yesterday. Last year's National League MVP, Ronald Acuna Jr., tore his left ACL as he was trying to steal third on a throw or fake it. I don't even know. Awkward move at second base. He goes down. Tore his left ACL after tearing his right one just a few years ago. Terrible scene in Pittsburgh. Tough for the Braves. But their pitching this year has been unbelievable. Max Fried and Chris Sale have been awesome. Sale had like a 26 innings scoreless streak. It was snapped in his last start, but he's been unbelievable. Max Fried has 2 complete games this year. That's the most in the majors. But the offense has surprisingly struggled. Acuna, before he did get injured, he's going to be out for the year. He was struggling a little bit. He hadn't been Ronald Acuna of last year at the beginning of this season. Matt Olson, he's just starting to turn one around. He hit one into the Allegheny River yesterday, but he was slow start. Austin Riley, slow start. He's hurt now. Sean Murphy's hurt. They're going to need some real contributions from the offense. Jared Kelnick, though, he's been pretty solid. Extra base hit in 5 straight games at Wrigley Field. That is the 4th time any player has done that in the stadium's history. I just mentioned it, Matt Olson. He homered into the Allegheny River, the 73rd home run ever to land in the river, the 3rd opposing player ever to hit 2. So not the first time Matty O has gone into the river. Maybe not the last. The Nationals, they've been all right this year. Only 5 games under 500. I mean, they've played some decent baseball. Trevor Williams has been very, very good on the mound, only throwing about 88, 89 miles an hour, but he's been great. The Mets, the worst team in baseball over the month of May. Bullpen's been horrible. Offense not much better. They're going to need something. The Marlins, they're 19-35. I mean, they've been a little bit better, but not great. Jazz Chisholm hit a leadoff homer against the Brewers on Wednesday and ended up winning the game 1-0. So it was the 30th time in the modern era, since 1900, that a leadoff home run held in a 1-0 game. So over to the Central. The Guardians have been great. 36-17. Jose Ramirez has been unstoppable. He's got 50 RBIs already. 50 RBIs for Jose Ramirez. He leads the league. He's 4th all-time on the home run list for the Cleveland Indians/Guardians with 226. He's behind only Jim Thome, Albert Bell, and Manny Ramirez. He has 3 home runs on 10-plus pitch at-bats this season. The rest of the MLB has 3 combined. So he just grinds you out and then takes you deep. He's still criminally underrated, the most underrated player in baseball every single year. And this was the 4th time in franchise history that the Cleveland Indians, I guess now the Guardians, have won 36 of their first 52 games. The other 3 times that the Cleveland has done this, they went to the World Series. Back in 1920, 1954, those were both wins, and then 1995 when they lost. The Kansas City Royals. This has been a pleasant surprise in baseball. They're 34-20. 14 games over 500. 8 wins in a row was snapped yesterday against the Rays. They've won 27 of their first 46 games to start a season. Last year, they didn't get their 27th win until 94 games in. That was 3 games after the All-Star break last year. They already have 27 in 46 games. Now they have 34. They scored 5 or more runs in an inning 9 times this year. That leads the league. Bobby Witt Jr. hit an absolute bomb into the top section of the fountain the other day, 468 feet. And they've had 2 perfect homestands of 6 or more games this season. That's only been done one other time in Royals history, and it was the 1985 team who eventually won the World Series. The Minnesota Twins had that crazy hot 2-week stretch. They lost that. The offense has cooled down a little bit. Alex Kirilloff was a big part of that, and he's been a little bit cool. He's heated up over the past week. They're still 4 games over, 28-24. The Tigers, another very up and down team, played a wild game yesterday. 14-11 walk-off home run by Matt Vierling to beat the Blue Jays. They're going to need their offense to wake up a little bit, though. Wencel Perez, switch hitter, he's been pretty good. First Tiger since 1940 to have 4 or more triples in the first 28 games of his career. And that's going to round out with the Chicago White Sox, who are 15-39, MLB's worst team. Been a little bit better since they started the season off. So bad, but I mean, still MLB's worst. National League Central, led by the Milwaukee Brewers, who, I mean, God, every year they're just so solid and are able to stay at the top of this division. Offense has been pretty good. Contreras and Adames have been unbelievable. Christian Yelich is starting to be really good, too. Had a little bit of an injury, but he came back. Stole home against his former team at Lone Depot in Miami against the Marlins. First steal of home by a Brewer since 2003. And it was actually White Sox World Series hero, Scott Podsednik. The Cubs, they're 27-26 after losing a big series to the Cardinals. Or actually, did they split the series? I think they lost two of the games because they got rained out on Friday night. Shota Imanaga. If you don't know who this guy is, you need to watch him pitch. He was supposed to pitch on Friday in that rained out game, but it's just been unhittable. Lowest ERA through 9 starts of an MLB career in MLB history since ERA began tracking in 1913. Lowest ERA through 9 starts ever. 0.84. 0.84, passing Francisco Valenzuela, who had a .91 back in 1981. Unbelievable, but they're going to need some more consistent offense. They're the second team since 1900 to have 11 or more players with exactly one triple in the team's first 48 games. So that's one of those extremely specific baseball stats, but throw that in there for you. The Cardinals have been on a heater, turned a corner. They're 25-26, and they got 6 RBIs in a game combined between the number 8 hitter, that was Mason Wynn, who was on I think it's a 15-game hitting streak after last night, and the number 9 hitter, Michael Ciani, who's been unbelievable in the field and center. First time that the number 8 and 9 hitters combined for 6 RBIs in franchise history. Big series win over the Cubs, like I mentioned, getting them right into the thick of this central race. Pittsburgh Pirates, they're 4 games under 500. Paul Skeens has been unbelievable. Through 3 starts, he has been just ridiculous. His first start didn't go too long. He struck out, I believe, 8 or 9 in his first start. Went into the 4th inning. Only gave up the 1 run on a homer. 2 of his 2 runners he left on ended up coming in off of walks, and the bullpen blew his first game. His second game at Wrigley Field, first start on the road, 6 no-hit innings with 11 strikeouts. They took him out after that. They finally were able to get a win. He got his first career win. 6 no-hit innings with 11 strikeouts. Third start, another gem. Not the strikeouts that he would like, only 3, but he went 6 innings, maybe 6 in the third. But the Pirates were up. They only gave up 1 run, I believe. 2 runs came in, 1 was earned. 6-2, the Pirates were up in the 8th inning, and they blew the game. Matt Chapman, the boy, hit a 3-run home run to start a Giants rally. Ended the game with a wild backhand down the line, and the Giants won the game. So Paul Skeens comes out there, throws a gem, and then more often than not, the bullpen has seemed to blow it. But so that game where he had 6 no-hit innings and 11 strikeouts, started that game with 7 strikeouts. Struck out the first 7 batters of the game, longest strikeout streak to start a game in Pirates franchise history, and the MLB record's only 9. The Reds, they have been struggling, 23-30. The offense needs to figure it out. It's been wild. The pitching's been pretty good, but they did just win a series against the Dodgers at home, so maybe that can get things turned around. Elly De La Cruz, though, 30 steals in the Reds' first 44 games. He's the 8th player since 1901 to have 30 steals in the team's first 44 games, and the first since Kenny Lofton back in 1996. And rookie Jacob Hurtubise, graduate from West Point University, did not know this, made his major league debut last week and got his first career hit on Armed Forces Day. How about that? Great stuff for the graduate of West Point. Hurtubise, he's been in the Reds outfield for all of the week. So wrapping things up with the Western divisions, the Seattle Mariners. They're still up top of the AL West, 2 games over 500. Only 2 games over 500 leading the division. Offense has not been very good. Julio Rodriguez needs to turn it up. He hit 2 homers back-to-back games, so they would love to keep that going. They cannot hit right now, but still first in this underperforming AL West. The Rangers, they've been not very good either. They can't hit right now. They were one of the best offenses in the league. Them, the Rangers, and the Braves, 2 of the best offenses in the league last year, coming into the season looking to do more damage, have not been the same offensively. The pitching has been good for both teams, especially Atlanta, but they're going to need to figure it out. The Astros, they're climbing back and climbing back. Pitching has kind of struggled, but the big names are coming back. Kyle Tucker's been one of the best hitters in the league. Yordan Alvarez had a little bit of a dry spell for homers, but he's going to come back strong. Altuve's Altuve. Bregman is Bregman. They're going to be back. Kyle Tucker, like I mentioned, fastest Astro ever to hit 18 home runs. 53 games. Unbelievable stuff. Jose Abreu just went down to the minor leagues and played his first ever minor league game as a 37-year-old. Never played in the minor leagues when he was younger, just came straight up. He is 17.7 years older than the league's average age. That's about a graduate of high school older than the average age of the league. And 60% of the roster that he's playing on weren't alive when he made his professional debut back in 2003. Unbelievable stuff. Another legend of the game, Justin Verlander, now tied with Ted Lyons for 40th in MLB history with 260 wins. So my Oakland A's had to put on this Matt Chapman jersey because he's been one of the best players in baseball over the past couple weeks. Bunch of homers, a bunch of unbelievable defensive plays, and one that he said was arguably the greatest he's ever made. Slow roller to third to end the game with the bases loaded. Unbelievable. But the A's fell off very, very hard after a great start to the year. 8 losses in a row put them in a hole until that game that I saw in person on Tuesday. So maybe I'm a little good luck charm. Abraham Toro leads the majors in hits during May. And we need to talk about Mason Miller. We showed you him strike out the side earlier against the Rockies. The game I was at, watching him live was unbelievable. He's unhittable. But let's just tell you the numbers on his historic season that he's having. His last 13 outings, hitters are 1 for 47 with 33 strikeouts. 1 for 47 with 33 strikeouts. 70% of the batters he's faced during that span struck out. In his last 15 games, 19 in the third innings pitched, no runs, 40 strikeouts, and 0 walks. First pitcher with a scoreless 15-game span with more than 35 strikeouts and fewer than 5 walks since at least 1901. And he had 40 strikeouts and no walks. Unbelievable. He leads the A's in strikeouts this season as a reliever with 45. He has way less innings pitched than the guy who's second on the team. That's Paul Blackburn. And the average speed on his four-seamer, 100.9 miles an hour, fastest in the majors. One of 3 pitchers in the league with 10 saves and no home runs allowed. Clase and Holmes are the other 2. He's just been unhittable, and he's 10 for 10 on save opportunities. It's ridiculous to watch. It really is. And the Angels, kind of the same old Angels, except Kevin Pillar just picked him up. He's been unbelievable. 17 RBIs in his first 14 games with the Angels. Only Joe Rudi, who had 19 back in 1977, had more in his first 14 games. And Tyler Anderson pitched 8 innings of run ball versus the Astros, where they got a win. Great game by him. And the last time Tyler Anderson had a start of 8+ innings pitched and no more than 1 earned run was on June 15, 2022, when he was on the Dodgers against the Angels at Dodger Stadium. And I was at that game. He took a no-hitter into the 9th inning with 1 out, and it was broken up by a triple by Shohei Ohtani. And he ended up coming in on a broken bat single by Mike Trout. So to wrap things up, the National League West, the Dodgers, this team is unbelievable. They're 33-22. Mookie Betts hit his 50th career leadoff home run. He's 5th all time on that. They've allowed 4 runs or fewer in 21 straight games. That's the 5th longest streak in the live ball era. And Walker Buehler picked up his first win at Dodger Stadium exactly 2 years after he picked up his last one. And Shohei Ohtani hit his first career walk-off with the Dodgers, 2nd of his career. And he is having the best start to his career since he's been in the majors. So this could be a scary season for him, as he's already a 2-time MVP. This could be his best season yet as a hitter. The San Francisco Giants, led by Matt Chapman, have been unbelievable over the last 2 weeks. Very exciting. 5 comeback wins in a row on the road. 3 straight games when they were trailing by 4+ runs, they ended up winning for the first time in franchise history. And Matt Chapman has been unbelievable. I said earlier, he had a hit in 7 straight at-bats at one point. Most by a Giants player since 2021, had a home run in 3 straight games, and he made 2 walk-off defensive web gems to end the game. One of them in Pittsburgh, and I shot down the line backhander, knocked it down, threw a seed over to first to end it, and then one against the Mets that everybody saw. Bases loaded, Giants up by 1, bottom of the 9th, 3-2 ball game. Matt Chapman's playing as deep as he could possibly be playing on the outfield grass, basically. Slow roller hit to him. He comes in full speed, barehanded play, almost collides with the runner going to third. Off-balance throw to first. Great pick by Lamont Wade. But Matt Chapman said, given the situation, bases loaded, only with the 1-run lead. If he throws that away, the game's over and the Mets win. If he doesn't make the play in time, it's at least tied up and they have a chance to win. But he comes in, bare hand, great play. He said it was maybe the greatest play he's ever made in his career. And I agree. Luis Matos, he won Player of the Week last week. 4th youngest Giants player with 5 or more RBIs in a game since the team moved to San Francisco in 1958. And he had 17 RBIs in his first 6 games of the season. That's the most ever by a Giants player. So they've been exciting, but 27-27. Another team 500 in this division, the Padres, sitting at 28-28. Luis Arias has been unbelievable for them. He started his Padres stint 21 for 60. That matches Tony Gwynn's first 14 games. And let's just talk about a little bit of similarities between Tony Gwynn and Luis Arise. Through first 500 career games, Arise's batting average, 324. Tony Gwynn's batting average, 328. Arise, 703 hits. Tony Gwynn, 732. Arise OPS, 799. Tony Gwynn, 808. Arise home runs, 24. Tony Gwynn, 26. So extremely similar numbers. Tony Gwynn has the upper hand on every single one of them by just a hair. But those are basically identical. Unbelievable stuff from Luis Arise. He's got 7 straight multi-hit games. Second most in MLB since the start of last season. And he set a franchise record with 31 hits in 17 games with the team. Unbelievable. Luis Arise is the next Tony Gwynn. The Diamondbacks need to get their offense going a little bit, need Corbin Carroll to get going a little bit more, but they're getting going. They're starting to get it going a little bit. They won their first series at Dodger Stadium since 2018, which is extremely interesting because last year in the playoffs, they swept the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, but they hadn't won a series there since 2018 in the regular season. Pretty wild. And to round things up, the Colorado Rockies. They did go on that, I think it was a 7 or an 8 game win streak right before I went out and saw them, but saw him lose 2 games, one against the Giants and against the A's. Not doing very well. But Ryan McMahon, I did see him homer twice, both times in the top of the first inning. It was part of a stretch where he hit homers in 3 games. I saw 2 of them. But the Rockies still 18-34, not so good. And that's going to do it here for this week's MLB breakdown. Whoa, excuse me. Sorry about that, but that was the end of the show. We're going to be done with the breakdown this week, and we'll try to get more in-depth action with what's going on throughout the week. So we're going to do an MLB breakdown every week. And now that I'm having be home from college, we're going to start to do things a little bit differently. So be heads up for that. So that's going to do it for us here on the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. If you want to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, make sure to hit up at the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. And then any questions about Bobby Valentine Sports Academy at bvacademy.com. So we'll see you next time. I've been Frank Rampin. Peace out.